I'm Jill Dumain, and we're standing here in front of the new Footprint Chronicles that we've developed at Patagonia. And we're looking at trying to complete our full environmental story and work that we're doing at Patagonia. On one hand, we have the Earth Tax, where we pledge to give 1% of our sales to nonprofit environmental groups every year. But then on the other side, we need to be equally careful to look at our own processes that we're doing in our production and make sure that they're not polluting a river on this side of the earth while we're saving in a river on the other side of the earth by giving money there. So with this project, we really wanted to use the image of the world map to show people the global nature of what the apparel industry has become now. So if you look, we start over in the United States, where Patagonia begins with the design work, and then you continue across the ocean over to Japan, where the fabric is made, and then continue on to Southeast Asia and to Vietnam, where we're actually sewing the garment and doing the production. And then it continues on, in this case, to our distribution center in France for distribution throughout Europe. So it was really important for us to educate the consumer, but also Patagonia employees on what these decisions make. So we went in, and customers are able to go through, choose different products and different elements of environmental reporting that are important to them. So here you get how many kilometers a product is traveling throughout its full life as it moves throughout this world map. Here you can see the carbon dioxide emissions that are related not only to transportation but also to manufacturing. And one really interesting thing we have found out there is the transportation is less than 1% of all the energy used in the manufacturing process from beginning to end. So we know the big energy hog is in the manufacturing process. The waste generated, it's also very important. We want people to realize when they buy these products, there's a lot of waste behind in the supply chain. So don't buy things every year. Buy less stuff is important to know. And then the energy consumed, like we talk about, is for transport and the manufacturing throughout the processes of the garment. This is the first time we have looked at this detail within Patagonia. We've always been really good at initiatives, and we get excited about the next thing and we move here, but we're not very good at looking at metrics and paying attention to what those specifics are. And we're finding it's really important for this next phase of our environmental work because we're starting to learn more of what's happening in the supply chain, and we're able to attack the things that are really meaningful. For example, right now in the media, a lot of information around transportation and how many kilometers it takes to go from here to there. But as we're finding in this research, it's less than 1%. So if we spent all our time there in shortening our supply chain, we're not attacking the big area of energy. If we look at where the energy goes into the manufacturing, we're able to work on that and really make a real reduction. We decided to do a web interface with what we're doing. And here we have our environmental page that leads from our main website. And if you scroll down, it gives a story on why we started this, what's the meaning behind it, why we think it's important to be transparent about our processes. And then you can come here and click on the map, and it'll launch a little mini site that you can then come in and choose to examine one of 5 products right now. In each season, this will be building to have more products and more products. But we'll look at the Eco Rain Shell, which we have here now to show. And this is a jacket made from recycled content and is fully recyclable. And if you look here, you can see where the map goes, starting in Ventura, going over to Japan and Vietnam, and finally back to the US for distribution on this site here. If you look, you can see the distance that it's traveled in both miles and kilometers, the CO2 emissions that are related to it, so customers can understand for this jacket, this is what it contributed. So as we go on, they can start to make educated purchases and decisions and to understand that consumption has impacts behind what they see. It's not just the jacket here. Same thing with waste, that there's a lot of waste in the supply chain, and we're trying to minimize that as much as possible. And then you can go in and look individually at the factory that's sewing it. Combining performance, aesthetics, you want to always look good in your clothes, and the environmental story is very difficult. And Patagonia is very much known for our performance and our quality, and we're not willing to sacrifice either of those for an environmental initiative. So we might work for years and years behind the scenes before we can bring something out like this, where we've really thought it through, that it makes sense environmentally, it's still performing at the level our customers want it to be, and it's going to last you a long time. Why we thought this was great for the VOLVO Event Award is we've been the first company to globally introduce the ability to take back garments at the end of their life and be responsible, like you would recycle your bottle at the end of it. When you're done using the product, the glass bottle, you recycle it. Now we're able to do that with garments. It's the first time a company's done that on a global scale. So it's really new for the garment industry, really new for the apparel industry. And it's shifting the way people think. It's not just throwing your clothes away at the end, but in design now, we're thinking about the end of the life of the garment. So by putting polyester shell, polyester fleece, polyester membrane, polyester lining, the end of life is very easy to take care of. As opposed, before we would do a jacket like this, it would be nylon, polyurethane, polyester, and it was impossible to do anything with at the end. So we have these boxes located throughout our own retail stores and our dealers, which allows customers to bring back their clothing to recycle the polyester clothing. This jacket is 100% polyester. It's brand new. Please don't recycle new ones, but bring old, worn out ones. Simply put it in the box, then we'll take care of the rest and we'll put it back to the beginning of the supply chain, which will enable us to make new polyester garments. If you look at this bottle here, you can start to see what the process looks like. This is showing the fleece, which is also recycled, but it'll come back and go to the chip level. We'll break it down into the fiber level and then make new fabric at the end of the day for new products of polyester. With the Footprint Chronicles, we're able to look at the supply chain and understand where we need to focus our efforts from an environmental standpoint in the future. It also allows us to ensure that the same environmental standards are put throughout the globe, throughout our full supply chain, and you have the ability to have clean water, clean air, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah.